actually positioning that if there is a problem like that, just before it cut out, because I have had that happen once before, so I'm not going to run it again in terms of the second screen. But if for some reason you do lose me, I'll be back on very, very quickly. But I really predict that won't happen again. That's quite a rarity. So I'm going to just bring up the slide. And once again, if you can just let me know, everyone, just with a quick show of hands, I just want to ensure that you can see the slide 1, tying it all together, Fortune Institute. Just let me know with a show of hands that that's the slide you can see. Great. We are on. So I'm just going to pull this little icon over to the side. Okay, so what's this all about? Now, this is, if you like, an alignment session. This is really important that you stay really present, focused, pen and paper in hand with this. We're going to cover a lot of information. I am going to help you organize and plan out an extraordinary year. And the reason we're putting this particular training online is I find from being a business coach, from working with entrepreneurs for the last 10 years, a lot of people will start the planning process and they will put a lot of things into their plan that when it comes back to me, they've put the wrong stuff in the plan. And this session is helping you understanding where you're currently at in your business so you make sure you put the right things into your plan. This is a very solid training session. We will be running, this will be going for about an hour and 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then I'm going to be sticking around for another 20 minutes to answer questions. I will be bringing you in throughout to make some, or to share some ideas with me when I'll ask you some questions. But please understand, this is very comprehensive. You'll get an enormous amount out of this, but it really requires your energy, your attention, your phone to be off, and to stop multitasking. Very important that you keep your energy 100% glued to the screen. So we're going to get into it. And as I said, we're going to finish today with I'm going to take you through the templates and teach you how to properly plan out your best year. In particular, I'm going to show you how to finish and complete an in-depth 90-day plan. I use the story, and you may remember me saying it in Sydney, that in order to drive from Sydney to Melbourne at night time, we have to get an idea of the destination, in this case Melbourne, but if we're driving at night time, we only need to see as far as the lights. And so the 90-day plan is, if you like, just seeing as far as the lights. And before I dive into this, I do want to really congratulate all of you for making the decision to join this program. I'm really excited to be the head accountability coach. I really feel privileged to help you. I really respect the fact that you've given up your time to come along to listen to this, but to invest into this program. Simon's been a mentor of mine for a number of years, and you are in for an extraordinary journey. So just to make sure that you're really proud of yourselves for taking this plunge, and you're going to get so much out of the program as we move forward. Right, so moving on, and I want to position this first because this is really the wealth creation calendar, because once upon a time, most of us were an employee. And then we started our own company. We became self-employed. And the thing about being self-employed is you have to be responsible for so many different things. So we've got to be in charge of the marketing, the selling, the doing the job, the books, managing everything, okay? So it's a big step to take when we go from employee to self-employed. And then eventually we realize we can't do everything. So we have to master the skills of management. And by the way, I find many entrepreneurs really fall down in this area because they've never actually learnt the skills of how to be an effective manager, how to hire great people. Recruitment becomes your number one skill and gift here. And the key is to hire amazing people, how to retain great people, putting quarterly reviews in place, leading a great team, if you like. And then the next level up after that, which is where we're really focusing today, is that how do I now remove myself out of the management role into the owner-leader role. You become the owner-leader when your business is operating without you. Okay, that's where you become the owner and leader. And then eventually, when we've got our time back, so our time's our most valuable asset, we learn to use the cash flow that we're generating out of our business to invest. See, the key thing with a business is we work hard to make money, but when we learn to make money, we get our money working hard for us. So at between point 4 and 5 is where we flip and we buy our time back, and we've got considerable cash flow coming through our business, and all this time, that's when we learn the skills of the investor. And I find a lot of people get very caught up in trying to become an investor when they haven't got much cash flow coming through their business. And I'm actually here to give you permission that it's actually okay to put your head down into your business and give it that space and time to make a lot of cash flow, to get your time back, and then down the track, master the investor. I'm a big believer in why bother learning and mastering investing when you haven't actually mastered generating a lot of money through your business. And eventually, the entrepreneur level, as you see right up the very, very top. And the entrepreneur level is where we, float companies, we're maybe franchising, all sorts of stuff. We're playing at a much bigger level. We're not just running the small business. We're playing a much bigger game. So I'm just going to pause here and just double check questions just to make sure everyone can still hear me. There we go. Okay, we're back on. Rightio, everyone. Sorry. Show my screen. There we go. So I'm going to keep pushing through. Now, I'm just going to move that over there. Right. So I wanted to position this because it is very important as we go through our entrepreneurial journey. And I also want to position the thing about running successful companies is we're looking to experiment. We're looking to trial new things. You have to respect that everything is, if you try something and it doesn't work, you're not a failure. Okay? If you try something and it works, fantastic. If it doesn't work, then it's okay. I mean, a lot of people don't stop and remember the story of Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb. And he had 2 years it took him to invent the light bulb, 10,000 attempts. And he was interviewed at attempt number 9,000, and they said to him, the journalist asked him a question, why do you keep persisting? Why do you keep doing this? You keep failing. And the journalist asked him, haven't you even failed 9,000 times? And Thomas Edison looked politely at the journalist and said, I've just found 9,000 ways that haven't worked. And I'm positioning this here because when we plan, it's very important that we plan to experiment and we accept that the faster we fail, the faster we succeed. And I'm also positioning this here as well because the more you put into this coaching program through the Fortune Institute, the more you will get back out of it. I really, really, really can't stress this enough. Do whatever it takes to get to the events in Sydney. Do whatever it takes to be on the webinars that we're running. Get into my coaching programs. The more you put in, the more you will get back out. Watch the I know factor. By the way, Mark, I know you're on here as well. If you've got a major issue, Mark, you've got my mobile. Text me on the mobile. Don't ring me. Just text me if there's a major issue at all, and I can get that message through my mobile. But I'm putting this up as well because we all know a teenager. We remember when we're younger, we had the I know attitude. And the problem with using I know is we block the opportunity to learn something new. Keep an open mind. Even as I'm going through this presentation today, make sure you keep a very open mind and watch the I know. Be very careful saying, oh, I know this, I'm going to go and multitask. There's just little tiny tips and pointers throughout this that is really going to help you. And I want you to also really watch the above and below the line. And I use the story. I remember, this is an amusing story. When I first went for my driver's license. And I remember I was so excited about it. I was 17 years of age, and I grew up on a farm, and I was very confident that I was going to get my driving license without really trying. And I went to the RTA. This is in Armidale Country, New South Wales, which is where I grew up. And I was standing in the RTA, and the guy, we walked out with the instructor, and we hopped into his little car. It had L plates all over it, so I stood right out. And everyone said to me, make sure you stop at the stop sign as you're exiting the RTA. And I stopped at the stop sign, and I was even more confident. I was driving down the road about 10 kilometers an hour. And next minute I heard this massive kabam. I was doing everything right. I was looking in my left review mirror, my right review mirror, and I heard this big crash. And I hit the brake, and I turned over to the instructor, and I said, what was that? This is a true story, and it's got a very good point. But the instructor said, you've just hit a pedestrian on a pedestrian crossing. And I'm like, what? And this poor pedestrian stood up. He was about 80 years of age, and he had a big smile on his face. You could tell that I was a learner. And this is what I did. I blamed the instructor for not telling me. I then blamed the pedestrian for not standing on the side of the road. Then I blamed the car. Then I went home and I was furious with my parents. I said to them, how dare you not warn me about pedestrians? And what's fascinating was I went on and failed another 4 times after that. Why? Because I was constantly using reasons. I was in blame, I was in excuses, and here's a big one. I was in denial. I pretended I was a great car driver, but underneath it all, I wasn't. Okay, I was in delusion, if you like. And it wasn't until I finally admitted that I couldn't drive. It wasn't until I finally asked my parents, can I borrow some money and go and do some driving tests, some experience with a person that's going to teach me how to drive, a driving instructor. This is where we move from reasons to results. And I'm positioning this now. The number one thing that holds back business owners that I work with is they're using excuses. And here's some excuses. I'm just too busy. I don't have enough time to plan. I just don't have enough energy. Oh, it's my team. If only my team. Oh, it's my relationship. My relationship holds me back. Oh, the economy. Oh, the GFC's been so bad. You know, I look at all these retailers complaining about the GFC, and then you look at Apple, who launched their latest iPad and have 300 people queuing out the front of their store in a retail shop. See, where do you choose to play the game? Some of my clients in the worst economies are absolutely dominating because of their attitude. And I'm positioning this here. It's so important as we go through this that you don't use the excuse, this is not relevant for my business. Oh, he doesn't understand my business, therefore it won't work. And I can't tell you how often I get this. It is so important that from now on, you are 100% responsible, accountable for your results. You are in full ownership. If your business is not working and you hate it, then change it. If your retail is dying because no one's going to the shops, move online or move to a new location. There's nothing stopping us. This is what I love. We have got 100% freedom in our world. There's nothing at all stopping us doing whatever we need to do to get the results. And I want to position this because look out for playing below the line. Now, in terms of taking questions, everyone, I'm going to stop it a couple of times throughout and take some questions, but I'm going to just push forward because it breaks flow if I don't. And as I said, we'll stop at a few different occasions to do this, but a really important one for us to focus on. So just a little bit more about me before diving into it. Just so you are aware a bit more about my experience, because it's important that you know this. I really struggled in my first couple of years in business. So I've been in the dungeons. I've been in really big debts. At one stage in my business career, I was very on the cusp of bankruptcy. So I know what it's like to run out of money. I know what it's like to have no money, no clients, feeling very rejected, feeling very demotivated, feeling very low confidence, lack of self-esteem. That was my life 8 years ago. I had what's called I call it now a flip to my life, where in the space of 1 month, I went from being really struggling to one of the top business coaches. I was actually in the action coach community, just so you are aware. That's where I did start my coaching career. And I became one of the top coaches in about a month. I went from near bankruptcy to billing over, close to $40,000 per month. 2 years later, I had a team of 25 people, turning over close to $3 million per year by applying what I'm teaching you today. I felt very incongruent being a business coach, having never run a business. So I made a very big decision that I want to learn to run a company. I started another couple of businesses as well. And I've been very lucky to work with some of the top entrepreneurs around Australia. Some of my coaching clients at the moment include the BRW, fastest growing business in Australia, a company called Maxim Foods. I work with them from startup. They're now turning over close to $60 million per year, netting an extraordinary amount. I've coached the number one mortgage broker in Australia. I've coached the number one personal training company in Australia. I've been very lucky to have worked with some of the elite entrepreneurs. Many of my clients are doing in excess of $1 million profit per year. And I'm very lucky because I get to learn from them. I get to witness what they do and how they run their businesses. And then I bring all that, if you like, that knowledge in and then pass that back on to my other clients. So, I really feel that I can help someone have an enormous shift. And I'm going to be really blunt. I don't enjoy little mediocre incremental increases. I like seeing someone take what I call the leap and starting to really back themselves and tap into their full potential. That's what I am extremely passionate about. And I really want to help you achieve that throughout this program over the next 12 months and bring my expertise, my experience from running businesses and working with business clients, plug that back into you and shift you to that next level. Now, I'm positioning this because today's session is so important. I'm teaching you what the top business owners are doing, and therefore so fundamental that you get this stuff and start working on planning for this as well. So we're going to dive into it now, and I'm going to position this. Show of hands, just to raise your little hand icon, who's heard of the reticular activating system? Just raise your little hand icon if you've heard of the reticular activating system. Okay. So we've had a couple. Now, to position what the reticular activating system is, this is what we're doing today. This is why planning is so important. Your reticular activating system is the most important thing that we can set in your life. And just to explain it, it is if you like, it's represented by a ball or a marble. If you think of it a marble size that sits in your right hand brain. When it's activated, when we activate it, if you can think we apply energy towards it, it will start seeking what you tell it. The best example that I can give you is you're in the market for a new car. And we've all had this experience, and then all of a sudden, because you're in the market for the new car, you start noticing the cars everywhere. It's almost like, holy moly, I didn't realize how many people drive this car. And you think at the start that you're going to be quite unique driving this car, but then all of a sudden you go shivers. Every man and his dog's got it. That's because your reticular activating system is set. And this is why marketers, people that are very good at marketing, get this at a very high level. If you're in the market for a watch and you've made your mind up that you are going to buy a watch, you will walk down the street. Your brain is so sensitive that it will see a billboard 300 meters away if it's advertising a watch. So when this thing's set, it goes seeking. And it starts attracting into your life, into your business, what you've tuned it in for. Now, the problem is most people don't have nearly enough clarity on exactly what they want. In fact, they've got more clarity and their head's thinking more about what they don't want. And so during the planning process, we have to set your brain extremely tightly, extremely definite. This is exactly what I want. And the most important thing is it has to come from the heart and not the head. It has to be true to what you truly want. And I remember the old movie The Secret that came out. There's a couple of major things that The Secret missed. The number one was it taught us to set selfish goals, which I think they really missed. That in business we are here to serve and we are here to add value to people, and therefore a lot of our goals need to be set around what's bigger than us. And I don't believe The Secret even talked about that. It was all about how much money you could make and etc. And the second thing that The Secret missed, which we're going to discuss today, was you can't just set a desire, you can't just set goals without having a plan to get there. It is so important that we set your business up very, very tight goals, very specific on the outcomes, and then we break it backwards to exactly what you need to do to get there. And that's what we're going to take you through today. And I'm going to, if you like, show you a lot of the little stepping blocks that you need to plan for that you might not have even thought about. So we've done this before. I did this in Sydney, and I'm not going to spend much time on this, but please write this down. Everything that I'm teaching you today, every goal that's set, needs to have pen to paper first. See at the top there, written. 98% of the wealth of the community is from people who have written goals. And this is very important. It's not typed. I'm giving you the templates, but you have to do your planning on paper first. Please understand that. The people that are lazy, that don't do their planning on paper first, enter it straight into the computer, don't achieve. And this is a huge thing. In the next 12 months, everyone, I want you to plan at least 50% of your week away from your computer. You do not get results sitting in front of your computer. I go through a notepad a week. I do all my copy on paper. I do all my planning on paper. I do all my thinking on paper. I create all my strategies on paper. All my creativity comes to me with a pen in hand, writing in paper. And we're going to talk about a few of these templates soon of what I use on a daily basis, because I believe every single one of you will benefit greatly by having a journal, a hard copy journal where you keep track of your thoughts, your goals, what it is that you want to achieve out of your lives. So this is important. A great leader will always assess their reality. Okay, a great leader will always assess their reality first. And this is important. If you can all make a note to please send me, Andrew Roberts, with all your templates, and you can start a brand new page. I want a summary to your reality. The more you can tell me, the more I can help you. So I want to know, where's your business at? How much debt do you have? How much money have you got in the bank account? How much, because if I can tap into what's going on in you, then I can help you. And this is really important. You're not here to bullshit me, or the Fortune Institute. You're not out there to impress any of us. And I think a lot of people get caught up in this. We're actually here to really help you. And if we don't know exactly where you're at, we can't help you. A great way to do this, everyone, is the SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. So in addition to it, if you like a summary as to where you're at. Now, I remember when I first started getting mentored by Simon, I sent him, if you like, a 2-page summary of where I was at. And I summarized my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And I really want all of you we don't actually have a template for this. This is just in addition to everything else, but to give me a summarize of your current situation. Right. So, our definition of a real business. Now remember, please also note this down. 7 habits of highly effective people. 7 habits of highly effective people. One of the habits is start with the end in mind. And a lot of people, I'm very good. My gifts and skills is helping people build their company to get back their number one asset, which is their time. And I think more people want their time back than even making more money. I mean, if I do a survey, I typically find people would prefer to make a little bit less profit if they could get their time back. And you have to start with the end in mind. That's the habit, that start with the end in mind. And this is why we need as well to give ourselves 10 years. And we underestimate what we do in 10, but we overestimate 1. But I really want you to respect that if we can build our companies so they run without us, then that's the true essence of a real business. And I'm going to be taking you through right now today on a relatively quick basis the 6 steps in how to achieve that. Because there is actually a system for how you can get your company running without you. And once again, we'll make sure you get these slides, everyone, and you'll also get, as I said, a copy of this recording. But the 6 steps, the most important step is mastery. And mastery is moving you from chaos to control. Okay, mastery is where you feel completely in charge of where you're taking your company. You're in charge of your time. You're in charge. You know exactly where you're going. You've got clarity. Okay, you've got good cash flow. There's no fear around money. You're moving forward. You've built the foundations, if you like, of the business. Most people do not spend nearly enough time in mastery. And it's not just business mastery, it's personal mastery. We have to help you develop the habits, the disciplines of being a really successful entrepreneur. Then we move into niche, which is all about making lots of money, okay? This is where we focus on increasing profit. The best thing is when you move through mastery and we operate in niche, we start scaling your company. But there's no point scaling a company if you haven't achieved mastery. And you'll respect it because you've got all this space and opportunity to then boom. Then we put systems in place. See, a lot of people think they have to systemize now, but no, systems come. Then we get the team to run your system. See, when we put systems in place, we start buying back your time. The team start running your systems, which gets you start getting your happiness back because you're getting a lot more time back. Then we focus on synergy. Synergy is one of my favorite areas. This is where we inject, if you like, and build a world-class team. And the team are so passionate and committed to your vision and your mission that you can go away for 3 months and the business has made more money while you're away. And eventually you get your time back and you can multiply, you can go and invest. You operate at results. So we're going to inject now a bit of time in for you to understand these. As I go through this, please write down if anything that you're not doing, you need to write it down because this needs to be planned into your calendar. Number 1, mastery. The first key element to mastery is where am I going? Okay, where do I want to head up? Or where do I want to head or end up? What's my end goal? If I could close my eyes and give a very articulate picture of exactly where my business is going to be, what is it? Now, the biggest thing that I want to honor in Destination Mastery, Simon went into this during the strategic weekend, He said you need to write a very clear description as to what your business will look like in either 12 months' time or 3 years. Now, my preference is I want a very detailed description as to what your life looks like in 12 months' time and to what your business looks like in 12 months' time. And the description needs to be as though you've already achieved it. And we have to get you in the picture so you can feel it. And I want to really position this because the more descriptive it is, the more detail that we go to, the higher the chance that you will achieve it. This is destination mastery. Most entrepreneurs I meet lack serious clarity. Now, I'm running another webinar to the Fortune Institute next week, and I'm talking more about how to get this. And I've got a lot of tools for people that are really struggling with this. You do need to let me know because I can, if you like, give you access to some other bits and pieces that you can do to find out what you truly want. But I will position this, that one of the easiest ways for you to figure out what you do want is to firstly write out what you don't want. So we dump what we don't want in our lives, in our business. That gives us clarity to what we do want. Clarity is powerful, everyone. When you have full clarity, your lights, if you think of a car dial, you can see on the screen here, your lights are on. You are certain, you're on purpose, you're engaged. You do not, if you're procrastinating, all procrastination is a lack of clarity. Okay, it's a lack of direction. When people start procrastinating, it's because you're putting energy towards what you don't want and you've lost touch with where you're going. That's all it is. And this is where my, top clients are constantly operating at the 10 out of 10. And just to position right now, so if we go back to lights off, lights on, clear, powerful, certain, energized, flow, possibility. Lights off, foggy, confused, drained, uncertain, accidental. I'm just going to pause the screen. I'm going to actually get you just to please send through in the chat box, where would you rate yourself out of 10 right now in terms of clarity? 10 out of 10, fully certain, and all those words are represented in your life, or 0, I've got nothing. Just give me a rating out of 10 where you currently sit in terms of clarity. And I won't read these out, by the way, everyone. These are just coming through. Right. Interesting. We've got a really good mixture. Just to read some of these out. 4, 4, 7, 6.5, 6, 6, 6, 5. Okay, the 8's to 8.5, excellent. Obviously, we're looking for 10, but the 6, anything below, I believe, is 7. Please write this down. If you're below a 7, you need to put a lot of energy towards it in the next 90 days. It's that simple. Anything that I'm mentioning as we go through today that you're not high in terms of rating, we need to put energy towards. Sorry, I'm just going to move that down. Right. Money mastery. So just remember, we've just done destination mastery. Destination mastery is broken into about 4 areas, everyone. I didn't position that. First of all is destination mastery. Second is money mastery. Either you respect money. If you don't respect money, money will not respect you. If you don't have your system set up to manage your money, you will never end up with it. It's like we all get this. We all understand this. If we put money into our account, then it's so easy for us to spend it. I mean, I'm sure some of you have had the experience of having money in your account that's not actually yours. It belongs to the tax man. And then you get hit with a tax bill. Many people experience this. Why? Because you didn't set up a tax account. Every single one of us, if you don't have a profit account in your business, then you're subconsciously you're saying to yourself that you're not worthy of having a profit. Every single one of you needs a profit account. Okay? Really, really important. We'll come back to it. We have to understand our break-evens. If you don't know your break-even, if you don't know how much money you need to make every single day to cover your overheads and costs, then you don't know your break-even. How much money do you need monthly, weekly, daily to cover your costs? So we look at our fixed costs, we add in our variable costs, yellow line's total costs. Now this is important because we add in revenue. And here's the thing, it's not about how much we turn over, it's about how much we profit. This is very important, everyone, and please feel free with the information you send through to me. You have to have trust with me on this. Everything's fully confidential, everyone, but if you send me your P&L, I can see a lot of stuff. If I can get a 12-month rolling P&L, I can look into it and go see what's going on. But it is all about making money. It's all about how much is left over after expenses. Most people set a goal in their business to just pay the bills. This is what most people do. I just need to make enough money to pay the bills. We need to set profit goals. We need to make profit. We're in business to make profit. Profit's king. How much profit do you want to make in the next 12 months? Not how much do you want to turn over, not how much sales, how much profit. I'm not going to talk about maximum utilization here, other than to say there is a point when reached, your profit will actually go backwards. And there's a particular size in a business that if you go over it, like I coach a lot of personal training studios. And the minute they put on the 11th personal trainer, the profit shrinks. So they're smarter operating at 10 personal trainers. That's what profit utilization means. We need to have budgets in place. We need to do monthly reporting. If you're not doing monthly reporting, if you're not budgeting, it's like playing cricket and not keeping score. This needs to be planned into your first 90 days. I find it really challenging coaching a client if I'm not seeing their budgets, if I'm not getting their P&L. And please make a note, monthly P&L, updating your budget monthly. Here's an example of a budget. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I've got a whole lot of other stuff that can help you with this. But budgets are so important. We predict out our cash flow at the top. We take out our cost of goods sold. We're left with gross profit. And by the way, if you don't understand what these terms are, gross profit, revenue, net profit, you don't have money mastery. That just being really blunt, you need to make a big note, need to learn more about money mastery. Westpac have a very good course to help you learn all about this. Then we take out our fixed expenses. Please note, in your budget, we need you to include the owner salary to keep yourself alive. Put it in the budget. Net profit here. Now, the thing I love about this, if this is a budget and we do this back in, say, 2009, bit outdated this one. If we budget that we're having a few months losses, then we can make decisions early. This is why it's so important to budget, to give us money mastery. This line down here is even more important. How much cash do we have in the bank? Cash is king. And how's this? I was working with a client last week. He's owed $1.2 million. I just looked at him and I went, why? And his response to me was, oh, that's just how things are in our industry. And it's like, it's ridiculous. How do you run a business when $1.2 million? I said, how much angst does that create for you? And he said to me, oh, it's horrible. I'm constantly owed money. And it's like, well, what are you doing about it? Oh, nothing. See, money mastery is getting the money in from customers, getting tight systems around how you collect your debts, making sure people pay you on time. I've worked with a lot of dry cleaners. I've helped them change their strategy from getting paid when people come to pick up the dry cleaning to getting paid up front. How do you change the way people pay you so you get more cash flow? Remember, everything's to do with the question we ask. Please focus on money. We need your account set up properly. If you don't have a GST or tax account, please set it up. It needs to be done in the next 90 days. We want a profit account. I need to know how much money do you want sitting in that profit account in the next 12 months. Let's set a goal. Let's write it down. You know, we need to know how much do you need to survive, and I'm going to have to also get you understanding the importance of the owner's salary gets paid before everything else. Pay yourself first. I'm just having a quick sip of my water. So that is money mastery, everyone. And as I said, I'll get through mastery and I'll take a quick break for some questions. Once we've achieved money mastery, probably even more important, not more important, equally important, time mastery. Now this is coming now into personal mastery. Where do you spend your time? One of the greatest things you will do in the next 90 days is record everything you do for 2 weeks. And you actually study it. You know, what I measure improves. Please remember that. What I focus on gets bigger. Whatever I measure will improve. It's like if you get personal training, they get you to measure your food for a couple of weeks. And just by measuring it, you eat better. So, I want you to tell me your hourly rate. We're going to spend about 2 minutes on this. You can read the screen and you can just write all these down. You may need a calculator here, but I want you to tell me and work out your hourly rate. And once again, everyone, this stuff is not going to be shared with anyone else. When you've worked it out, I want you to send it through to me in the chat box. Just remember that only comes through to me. No one else will see it. So once again, you shouldn't be embarrassed about it anyway. You're all going to be working together, and the more open you are with each other, the more results you'll get. And I'm just sick and tired of people having to put on this front in business that they're doing better than what they are. It's so much smarter to be just real. And if you're struggling, who cares? Everyone wants to help you. So work out your hourly rate, send it through to me, how much money you need to make per hour. Please send it through. I'm going to just pause the screen. Hopefully you can still all see. If you can't see the screen that I had that little formula up, let me know and I'll re-show it. But hopefully I pause it on the screen. Just someone message me in the chat box and let me know if you can't see that screen. I'm pretty sure you can. Okay, good. Oop. Okay, another 30 seconds, everyone. Yeah, Michael, I'm talking about working out your hourly rate. Bearing in mind, there we go. So just to shoot through your hourly rate. Okay, 10 more seconds, everyone. Then we're going to move on. Very important. Okay. So, once again, I'm not going to read those out, but we've got a big range of answers there. And So I'm just going to move that over there. Big range of answers there. Here's what I want you to do. We have to get you to figure out what your hourly rate needs to be. Not what it is, what it needs to be. And here's something that I want you to start understanding. When we run a business, we need our hourly rate up. We need to go think bigger. We need to be, eventually pushing the $1,000 plus per hour. You have to respect this. In order to achieve $1 million profit per year, you actually have to be up around the $3,000 an hour mark. And I'm not saying this to freak you out yet. And remember, we've got 10 years to move towards that. But it's time for you to start backing yourself and to start realizing that you need to increase your hourly rate. You need to be working on tasks that have a higher, if you like, a higher value tasks. And golden rule of thumb, everyone, that rate needs to be stuck, not what it is, what you want it to be. It needs to be stuck in front of you, and you have to analyze and challenge every single thing that you do. Everything. And in the next, it's going to be really important. And I can't be there just following you around, but you have to let go of tasks that you're doing that are less than your hourly rate. This is the biggest fear that most business owners have. Oh, but I can't afford it. I can't afford it. You can't afford not to keep doing it. We're raising the bar. The minute you let go and outsource, delegate, lower value tasks, you will definitely shift to the next level, without a doubt. Stop wasting your time. This is huge. This is time mastery. We want the difference between a good week and a great week is 5 great days. Just remember that. The difference between a good week and a great week is 5 solid days. And I'm not talking about working 1,000 hours. I'm just talking about when you're at work, you are productive. You're not, it's like one of my clients the other day, and some of you may be guilty of this, but drove across town to drop off a report to a client. Or another guy drove across town to pick up something from a client. That's like $25 an hour work. If any of you are doing less than $100 an hour work, honestly, you're smarter going and getting a job. I'm being really upfront. Less stress, less angst. You need to get a job. What can you do being productive is respecting every 10 minutes of your time. And this is true. We kid ourselves. We think we're productive, yet we get to the end of the week and we ask, what the hell did I achieve? And this is true. In 2 hours, a successful person will achieve more than someone in delusion could in 1 week. The crazy thing is, in the space of 2 hours, you can double your business. In 2 hours, you have the opportunity to double your business. And I'm not joking you. I'll give you an example. It's like when I was very lucky to present a webinar to 10,000 business coaches. It was called the World Business and Executive Coach Summit. And I was selected with about 18 other presenters to come along and present to all these coaches throughout the world. And I made a decision. As soon as I was selected, I thought, one of my expertise, everyone's webinar. I run a lot of these webinars. And so I help people run webinars. And so I made a decision, click of a finger, why don't we send out an email to all the other 18 people that are presenting. Now, some of them were Brian Tracy, Marshall Goldsmith. Some of you may have heard of Michael Gerber from the E-Myth. I sent out one email and I said, I'm one of your co-presenters at this big online conference. And I would love the opportunity to give 20 minutes of my time to help you use webinars more effectively when you run your presentation. Now, out of the 18 people, one email sent to 18 people, it booked me like nine people came back and said yes out of the 18, so 50%. And then I was able, my personal assistant booked me in 20-minute chats. And out of that, I got 5 of them that agreed to market me to their databases. That was enough in that particular period in my life that it doubled my business. This is really important, everyone. You can do things in 2 hours to double your business. The only thing that's going to stop you is your belief in yourself and you playing the smaller game. So we're looking, in order to move you to the next level, you have to change how you're using your time. The old saying, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting the same results. Very important, time mastery. We have to take it to the next level. And here's an amazing book, everyone. What got you here won't get you there. Everything you've done to get you to where you're at in your business is not going to get you to the next level. So you have to scrap everything you've ever done and start doing things differently. And the only way to do things differently is to use your time differently as well. And if you haven't read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, please write that down to read in the next 90 days. Because we want you in the zone. This is the time target. I'll just bring all this up. Are you in the zone? The zone is important, but not urgent. Not urgent, but important. You can see it right here. Okay, we want you in the zone. And make a note. We need to get you to 50% of your time and energy in the zone. What's the zone? The zone is working on marketing, working on sales, working on strategy, planning, working on systems, working on training the team. This is in the zone, everyone. What you're doing right now is in the zone. There's no urgency, but it's really important. Just a big note, 50% of your time needs to be in the zone. And if you don't plan that time in the zone, then there's a very high chance you won't do it. And this is why we need you to plan to do your default diaries. I spoke about this at Simon's. I'll give you a template for this. I'll take you through this a bit later. But we need you to make sure you put energy into planning out your week. We'll come to this a bit later. So that's the third part of mastery. So we've done destination mastery, money mastery, time mastery. The next one, the final one, is delivery mastery. Are you delivering to your customers consistently? Are they getting what they pay for? Are you putting out spot fires? So consistency is the foundation for healthy growth. And here, the major thing you need to master is systems to ensure customers are delivered consistently well. And this is why you're going to find that I'm about to send out some documents to you, which is positioning you to how I work with you. Let me ask the question, do you all send out, and you don't have to respond to this, but when you sign up new clients, when you bring on new clients, how many of you position them to set expectations? See, when customers become upset with you, the reason why they become upset with you is there's a mismatch in expectation. The customer expects more than what the client is delivering. And there's an element of unrest. So here's a system to remove that. You position your clients. As soon as you sign them up, you then set the expectations with them. And then you deliver to those expectations. In fact, you over-deliver on those expectations. Very important. And that is mastery. So to summarize mastery, destination, do I know where I'm going? Do I have a plan to get there? Money mastery, do I have my budgets, my P&Ls? Am I doing reporting? By the way, am I test and measuring my marketing too? We'll talk about that a bit more in niche. Then we've also got time mastery. Am I in the zone? Am I being serious? Am I actually doing work that's above my hourly rate? What do I need to delegate? What do I need to get rid of? And finally, delivery mastery. So I'm just going to pause the screen and I'm going to just open it, this will give me an opportunity to have a quick drink of water, and for those of you that need to have a quick drink or stretch, jump up and have a stretch, but please use the chat box for questions. So send through any questions via the chat box now, and I'll take maybe 3. Send them through and I'll answer those for you, if you've got any. Yeah, a few people have written in here $1,000 an hour would be nice. And it's not just nice, it's very doable. Very, very doable if you believe you're worthy of it, everyone. And we're going to go into this because I want to help you all learn how to believe more in yourselves, that you are capable of achieving that and that that's not unrealistic. So happy to take any questions now. As I said, I'll take 2 to 3. Brad, these slides will be available. Mark will let you know, but probably in about, at the absolute latest, a week's time. But Mark will bring that up sooner. He will no doubt share that with you. Just a couple more questions, everyone. Opportunity to fly off to the bathroom if you need to as well. We will push forward. We've got a fair bit more to get through. Yeah, the templates are going to be in the members area. We've emailed you one template, Amol, but hopefully I've pronounced your name correctly there. Apologise if I haven't, but everything will be put into the members area. Listen, I'm going to be giving you. We've got so many templates. We'll have templates for finding your break even, how to put budgets in place. I'm going to give you a list of all the things you need to do to achieve money mastery. I've got so much great stuff. Yeah. Brad's got a lot of work in the next 90 days. And Brad, don't freak out because it may take you 6 months to achieve mastery. Great question, Steve. Is the hourly rate a personal rate for myself or a rate you need for each member of staff? Both. So my personal assistant is worth a certain hourly rate, and I said to her, I want you doing jobs higher than your hourly rate. That's why I've also employed a couple of outsourcers from the Philippines. I've got a full-time employee in the Philippines that I pay. It's amazing. It's $100 a week full-time to get. She's about $4 an hour, and she's extraordinary. Can you imagine how much you can get done when you've got someone at that level? So Steve, yeah, all my team members, I'm very hard on them to work at a higher hourly rate than what they're worth. Very important. What are some of the things we need to set for customer expectations? The biggest thing I will mention here, Jasmine, is the question is, everyone, are there some parameters, if you like, around setting customer expectations? Jasmine, when you receive the email from Christy, my PA, it will give you a good indication of how I set expectations with you, how I work. And then what you do is you look at that and go and sit down with pen and paper and create them on pen and paper. Write them out. You will not know yourself when you set them. And there's no parameters other than really think about what you need, what you want. Use mine as an example. Yes, we are going to work on the plan, Craig, coming up. Moving on, everyone. Show my screen. There's a bit more to get through around tying it all together. And once again, just to position everyone around why I'm doing this, because I find most people plan the wrong stuff. And I wanted to do this webinar so you actually put the right things into your plan, not the wrong things. I'm just going to move this down here. There. We're moving on to niche. Won't take us much longer to get through the rest of this. How do you know you've moved into niche, the next level up? So once again, we've done mastery. We're now in niche, predicting cash flow. We're focusing on making money. You know you've cracked a niche because you're no longer competing on price. This is very important. We shift you away from being at a direct price. You're not out there trying to get the cheapest. You're adding value and if you like, you've targeted a market where they're happy spending a bit extra money with you. And this is where we work on the unique selling proposition. Simon went into some other things, guarantees, coming up with really strong USP that's going to separate you from your competitors. There's the story of Paddy Lund. Some of you may have heard of it, dentist in Brisbane. Paddy Lund, can you imagine, dentistry is so boring. Paddy Lund went in one day with a chainsaw, cut out his reception area, put some bean bags in there, got an oven, put an oven in there, started baking cupcakes every day, put all these unusual ornaments throughout the dentistry, gave nicknames to his tools, got all his team dressed in Hawaiian shirts. Now, this is a dentist. Who's ever been to a dentist where the team's dressed in Hawaiian shirts, where they call the drill Freddy? And the crazy thing is, a USP, many people are scared to do it because they've got a fear of looking different. The more different you look, the more you stand out, the more you can attract attention, the higher the chance you're going to be of success. I'm going to share with you, how's this for a USP? I'm coaching a client at the moment that is doing very, very well, and he's just bought the URL www.accommodation.com. How's this for a point of difference? Now, you're going to see this in the media in the next probably 6 to 12 months. I don't know how long. But accommodation.com is the first accommodation site ever to let you book accommodation on the moon. Okay, now that'll take a little... Some people are going to hear that and think that's silly and that's stupid. And then I'm just going to remind you that Richard Branson also claimed that he was going to be the first person to fly people into space in Virgin Galactic, and just to also remind you that he pre-sold 250 tickets at $250,000 each before the thing was even invented. So this client is positioning himself as the first person to allow people to book accommodation on the moon. Now, he can't deliver on that just yet, but I want you just to sit back and ask yourself, why is that so awesome? What is so great about that? Now, he gets that marketing is getting attention. We need to be on a limb. We need to be on knife edge here. And USP, most people think USP is some of these. Well, let's have a look at it. Friendly staff is not a USP. Shop is clean and tidy, not a USP. 24 money back guarantee is, but not really. I would actually almost put a line through that today. We have stock in range of sizes, boring. We have a unique 8-step fitting program to ensure that our staff fit you correctly. That's unique. All our staff attend an intensive 2-day colour coordination training program. That's unique, right? A little bit, still a bit. You could still take these to the next level. We are well established. We care about you. Boring, boring. We have a pick-up delivery alteration service, unique. We have 28 different brands of coffee, unique. Here's a big tip. If your competitors say it, then it's not unique. And during the USP, at the niche stage, we're really taking your USP to another level. I've got a very, very, very good document to help you. And bearing in mind, Simon and Brian are geniuses at this. So you're going to leverage off them during the next 12 months to crack your uniqueness. Listen, I've created in my business, I've written a book called What the Hell Are You Chasing? And I've launched, I was telling Simon and Mark about this yesterday. I launched a Facebook page in the 15th of January this year. And because my message is different, it's now got 32,000 fans on it. I've had 7,000 email opt-ins, 7,000 new leads in 2.5 months because I've got a unique message, okay? This is USP. This is operating at the niche level. You can check it out if you want, but the whole idea is the more unique we are, the more we stand out, the more we attract attention. It needs to be truly unique, appeal to your target market, something that will get people talking. You've cracked a USP when people talk about you at their dinner table, e.g., wow, I saw this guy today that's claiming to be the first person to allow people to book accommodation on the moon. I mean, I just think that's ridiculously awesome. I think this is going to help his business become one of the world's greatest online accommodation sites. Something that can't be easily copied, or if it can be, it's an obvious rip-off. I'm not going to go into the guarantee. Obviously, we need to remove the risk. All you need to do with guarantees, everyone, is ask the question, what is the biggest fear that my customer has in buying from me? And then the second part is, what do I need to do to remove it? I mean, I'm launching this new program in my business, and I have a 200% money back guarantee. Here's the guarantee. If you don't like it, in 30 days, I'll refund your money. If you stick to the back end of the program and you don't get extraordinary value out of it, I'm going to send you a check for $497 so I'll refund your money and send you a check. So the reason, what this does, these guarantees just give utter confidence. So I'm not going to spend much time on this because Simon and Brian will go into this in a much higher level, but people are scared to use them. If you don't back yourself with guarantees, then I don't think you've achieved mastery. And remember, in marketing as well, sorry for the graphics here, we need to reduce our acquisition cost of clients and increase lifetime value of clients. So what we're doing in niche is making sure that we pick up customers for less money and then increase their lifetime value. Please make a note. I would love to also know what your customer's lifetime value is. By the way, it's in the business analysis review that we've sent you. What does a customer pay you over their life? Not per year. What are they worth over a life? And here's another big point. When you become awesome at business, you become very comfortable in buying customers. And here's another question. What are you prepared to spend to get a new customer? Please write that down. What are you prepared to spend to pick up a new client? Now, we want in marketing to have 10 strategies in generating leads. So we're going to help you put your marketing plans together. We've got some great templates, but most people only have 1 or 2 strategies. I'm not going to spend much time on this marketing chassis, but just to give you a brief overview, you can either build a Ford or a Jaguar on the same chassis, on the same structure. Same with business. You can build a basic business or a fantastic profitable business. And some of you would have seen this, but basically the things we need to focus on here are, rather than setting goals around number of customers, revenue, and profit, we need to set goals around how many leads you want to produce in the next 90 days. What is your conversion rate? How many times do you want them to buy from you? How much do you want them to spend on you? And what's your margin? Margin is basically your expenses, take out expenses. So I won't do this, but I was going to show you, if we put a 10% increase in each of those areas, this is just an example, which you'll get on another actual webinar that I've got. If we get a 10% increase in number of leads, we increase your conversion rate by 10%, we get your customers coming back 10% more, we get them spending 10% more, and we improve your margins by 10%, we get a 61% improvement in your profit. Okay, so we really need to focus on those numbers. And I wanted to put this up. When we're looking at marketing, the first place we should always focus is your margins. Because remember, profit is king. What can you do to tighten expenses? What can you cut out? What can you get rid of? Margins, number 1. Conversion rate, number 2. What can you implement to improve your conversion rate from lead to sale? Okay. Number 3, what can I do to get my customers spending more money? What can I do to get my customers spending more money? Number 4, what can I do to get customers coming back more often? And then finally, look at this for interesting. What can I do to increase my number of leads? The reason why we focus on leads last, it's the most expensive. These other ones, see, acres of diamonds, everyone, it is 16 times easier getting your existing customers spending more money with you than finding a new customer. 16 times easier. The first place you should always look to improve, to make more money is also your margins. What can I swipe out? How do I get my team more productive? All that sort of stuff. Very, very important. Then we move into leverage. Once we're through niche, we cover leverage. Leverage is systems. Most people have a job and we need to start systemizing everything that we're doing, and we're dividing to multiply. Okay? Ever more with ever less. We're introducing a lever. This is what system stands for, everyone. Saving you some time, energy, and money. So we're starting to systemize every role. I describe it like a production line. You've got your marketing, then you've got to convert them into selling, then you've got to do the work, then you've got all this administration, you've got IT, you've got HR, you've got admin, you've got finance. How do I systemize all of this and then get other people to run those jobs? We leverage through other people. Just please send through to me now, yes or no, do you have a personal assistant? Just a yes or a no, do you currently use and leverage through a personal assistant? I'm just going to pause the screen just so I can see. Just a yes or a no. My wife, I remember hearing one day a guy stood up at a conference I went to and said how excited he was when he was able to sack his wife of his PA and rehire her as his wife. By the way, some people work extremely well in relationships, having them as their PA. So yes, no. The wife says, I wish. Keep going, everyone. A few more to come in. Right. About 50-50. A lot of people have, a lot of people haven't. Please respect that I'm a very big believer that all of you need one. Even if you start with a virtual assistant from somewhere like the Philippines. I've got an amazing little VA, Ivy, who's got incredible English, who's so articulate, very good at admin. $100 a week. It's about 95 Australian dollars a week. Works out, as I said, probably about $3 an hour, but it's not slave labor. It might sound that way, but she's extraordinarily happy. She's very passionate, and we need to get low value tasks off you. We need you to delegate your books. You got to get your accountant involved. You can't do it all. And we leverage. So the first place we always look to leverage is through people. We leverage through systems. We leverage through marketing. You want to move to $1,000 an hour, you need to get the power of leveraging your marketing. How do you create, if you like, one ad that can bring you 500 sales? You know, you do all the hard work once, and then it reaps the rewards. It's like my Facebook site. Why has it done so well? Because I produced one really good ad. How long did it take me to produce that ad? About an hour. And how many leads has it brought in my business in the last 2.5 months? 7,000. So, and the crazy thing is, I'm not busy. The leads are coming through right now as I'm running this, so we can leverage through marketing as well. We need to develop positional contracts in your business. I'm putting this all out here now, everyone, because I want you to understand the bigger picture of what you need to go through to get a business to run without you. We need in the positional contracts to explain the vision and the mission of the company rules of the game. If you're employing someone, what are their duties? How will they be measured? How will they be rewarded? Who will they report to? How do they know when they get a raise? What happens if they break the rules? So we need to get all these things systemized. We need to put KPIs into your business. A set for each and every position, a set for each and every team member, a set for each manager. one of the best tasks you will ever do in your business is give yourself a full day and go and break down every single thing that needs to happen in your company on a monthly, on a weekly, and on a daily basis. And just dump it down and then start allocating someone's name to it so they're responsible for that, including emptying the bin and cleaning the office, including filling the printer or maintaining the printer when it breaks down, including doing the BAS, including getting the monthly P&L checked, including training the team, including doing the team review. It's so important that everything is written down somewhere and there's someone's name to it. We need to systemize your marketing. We need to make sure eventually we get your leads being automated. So they're coming into your business without you even being there. We need to then systemize your conversion, and we need to systemize your delivery to make sure your customers, these are 3 very important systems. We're going to look at marketing systems throughout the next 12 months. So coming up with, if you like, the bribes to attract leads into your business. And then we're going to look at an example conversion system. So a lead comes in. I mean, in my business, a lead comes in, we upsell them to watch an automated webinar. When they join the webinar, they get an email, which is me presenting, then another email. Then I present the webinar, and then let's say I get 500 leads coming in here. You might get 200 that join here. I might get 100 watch the webinar. I might get 20 sales. Now, the crazy thing about this is all automated. This can happen without me being there. This is leverage. Okay, so we're going to really, when we're looking at leverage, we're scaling you up to another level. Really going to that next level. Then we focus on team. Once we've got the systems in place, we get the team to run the system. Notice over here, you're starting to feel quite happy because your business is starting to make a lot of money, cash flow, and you're getting back your time. Please understand this. We need to get you on organizational charts where you break down what has to happen in marketing, selling, production, admin, accounting, /IT. IT needs to be added here. Human resources. Because eventually we want a manager in charge of each person in here. And understand this, when you get someone dedicated and focused on each of these areas, this is where your business goes to a whole new level. Can you imagine having a full-time person focused on marketing, then a full-time person focused on closing the leads? Because at the moment, you are probably going a little bit up here, a little bit here, a little bit over here. Oh, let's do a bit here. Oh, let's jump over to here. Let's do a bit of finance. Oh, I better go lead. Oh, I better do some more management. Shit, forgot about that. And we've got to move you from jumping all over the place to having systems in place and then a dedicated team running those systems. We're going to take you through the 6 keys to a winning team. I'm not going to go into it now, but please, just to give you an overview, it's where we set a common goal with your team. You know, there's not one sporting team out there that doesn't move towards a common goal. We're going to set really tight rules. The whole team are following an action plan. So my top clients, every 90 days, they spend a full day with their team, helping the team identify exactly what they need to do. Every single team member is on a 90-day plan, right? Everyone's committed. We support innovation and risk-taking. So I've got another client at the moment. We've just set this goal to achieve, if they can achieve 167,000 net profit a month for the next 6 months, the entire team go to Fiji for a whole week. Common goal. Pretty big goal, but this client's going for it. He's got the whole team so motivated. This is what creates, if you like, synergy. How do I maximize my team to play at the next level? How do I build the world-class team, well-oiled machine? Freedom. This is where you can walk away, the team runs without you. Pretty extraordinary. And it's most employees are motivated, energetic, committed, except for the 8 hours they work for you. Very, very interesting. So we've got to get you out of the road. So someone else comes in and manages them, and we've got to get the right people on the bus in the right seats. Okay, Good to Great is the book we need to read here. But as I said, you might not be at this place now, but I'm giving you the bigger picture. This is what we need to achieve in the next 3 years to create an outstanding business. We need outstanding people. You want a world-class team. First of all, you need to become world-class yourself and then attract the right people in. Because the owner is the most important. You are the most important person in your business, not the customer or your team. You stop dealing with the customer, your energy goes into the team looks after the customer looks after the business. This is the cycle of business. Great, and then it results. And this is the crazy thing, everyone. Richard Branson, when you learn to run one business successfully, there's no reason why you can't run multiple at the same time. And this is where you start. It's amazing. When you've got the confidence, most people achieve their true success in business in maybe their third or fourth business. That's really interesting. So just respect that you might even be in your apprenticeship. This business that you're in might not be where you make all your money and have the really successful company. Most people that I work with, it happens for them in about year 13 or 14. Isn't that interesting? They crack it in year 13 or 14. And even if you haven't achieved it by then, doesn't mean you won't. And the other thing I want you to respect, when you crack it in business, you'll generate more money in the space of a year than your previous 10 years combined. And so breaking our definition, a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you is linked to mastery, to niche, to leverage, to team, to synergy, to results. And it's designed to give you your freedom. So I'm going to just pause there, and then we're going to get into the planning, everyone. I'm actually going to teach you how to plan out and take what we've covered to make sure that you're very clear on how to make these plans happen. But I'm going to pause the screen, and I'm going to just open up again for some questions. I went through that information very quickly. We will be releasing more information to you to go into more advanced understanding of all this stuff. But please fire away any questions that you've got, and I'm happy to answer those. And then we're going to move into how to plan. Right, I'm just going to check these out. Robin says I need to clone myself. One thing that's really interesting, Robin, that's what your PA does. When you put on a PA, you practically clone yourself because you instantly buy back, I think minimum 20 hours per week, minimum, when you put a PA on, because it's amazing. So hence why I push everyone to do it. Is anyone else feeling overwhelmed? Very important, great question, Brooke. Very important. Please give yourself 10 years. Please, you're not doing this in the next 90 days. Please, I just wanted to give you the big picture. This is a journey. I've helped clients in the space of 3 to 5 years achieve all of this, have a business running without them, and then they can exit. Please don't worry about stressing. By the way, if you're really busy, if you're too busy, you're just not leveraged. Remember that. If I'm too busy, I'm just not leveraged. Clinton, I don't know what a PA would do for me. Wow. Bring that up in a coaching session with me, Clinton. I can give you 50 things. My PA is currently, what's she doing? She's typing up a course that I put together last week. She's lining up leads for me. She's sending out my book to get it in front of journalists. She's marketing for me. She's on the phone, booking me in to do presentations. The list goes on. There's so much you can get your PA to do. The PA can do so much on your business work as well. Not to mention all my filing and all that stuff. Someone else wants your PA if you don't know what to do with the Clinton, which is interesting. I'm not sure what your question is, Rebecca. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Aren't world-class employees out there doing it for themselves like us? Really good question, Rebecca. So I've got a world-class employee. My PA, Christy, is world-class. No doubt about it. She doesn't want to run a business. She's a mother of two. She is absolutely more than happy working for me. And respect, there is lots of world-class employees out there that have no desire to run a business. They don't have the entrepreneurial desire in them. This is so please respect that. Yeah, Amal's just asked a question, how to know who you are hiring is doing the right, if he is the right person, how to hire. Look, there's not enough space and time in this, Amal, to educate you on recruitment. And I'll speak to the Fortune Institute around running a webinar on recruitment. It's that important. I think one of our greatest skills that we will master is recruitment. And there's about 7 steps, Amal, from writing out the job description to then writing a job ad to then how to place the ad to then how to set up the interview process. These are all essential skills, and we don't have enough time to cover that today, but it is something that I'll speak to because I'd love to run a webinar on that. The business analysis review is basically where you're currently at, Don. Don just asked the question, with the business analysis review for a startup, do I fill it out in present, future tense? Present tense, it's got some future-based questions in there though. It's a good opportunity for me to see your reality, where you're currently at. So we'll talk about that a bit too at the end. Okay, let's move into planning. Planning. So, just once again, everyone, have a stretch. We've been going for an hour and a half. Rule of thumb, I actually do educate people to be careful going over an hour and a half on webinars. So we've hit the hour and a half point. Please, this is a really good discipline. Focus. Really, really good discipline for us all to really focus here. Got 30 minutes to go. We've got the most important part coming up. And just know that this stuff's so important that going into Easter, knowing this is going to really help. So let's go. Where do we start? Now, part of what we're going to be sending you, everyone, is I ran an online webinar training in December last year called Finish the Year Before It Starts. And please make a note, it goes for 1 hour. And I'm giving you access to, I want you to watch that webinar. Finish the year before it starts. It's going to give you distinctions on how to map out and plan the best year. And what I'm doing today is I'm just, if you like, giving you the best of that. Really just summarizing it, tightening it, getting it right. And the first place we need to start, everyone, is who do you want to bump into in 12 months' time? And I'm going to be flicking between screens very shortly, but it's so important that you create what I call a desire statement. And it's a statement of everything you've achieved by this time next year. And I want to read this, and I want to feel, if you like, when I read it, if I'm not excited by it, you haven't put your heart and soul into this. This has to get you pumped. This has to get you excited. You have to read this. It's got to give you goosebumps. Anthony Robbins talks about this. Now, some of you may be against Anthony Robbins. I think he's an extraordinary guy. To be frank with you, I've actually never been to anything. I've only ever listened to his CDs. But he talks about this, and I fully agree. There's 3 stages in business to become successful: state, story, strategy. And most people get those the wrong way around. Most people focus on the strategy first. We need to get you into a state. And a state is, if you think about a state, is when you want to run out onto, you're at the Olympic Games and you're about to compete. The energy that you're giving off. The problem is we don't get into this state in business. We don't ever get ourselves into the position of, I can conquer anything. And so what we do is we get into state, and every single day we read out our story as to where we're going. And there's not a day that goes by when you don't do this. It has to be done weekdays. Your choice if you want to do it on weekends. But if you can imagine starting the day reading this story out of, I'm so excited, I walk in, I'm relaxed, I'm calm. It's amazing. I can see $60,000 in the profit account. I love the fact that we've helped all these clients. If you get stuck with this, everyone, you must buy the book, The Law of Attraction by Michael Lozier. I'm sending this through the chat box right now, so you've got it. All these people ask me, Andrew, how did you grow your business so quickly in 2 years? And I go, so simple. I created the vision and I believed in it and I read it every day. It's that simple. For me, this is the most important thing you will do. Law of Attraction by Michael Lozier. This book is like a little Bible to me. You can buy it online and it will help you create that story. And I want to see that story, by the way. You can create a separate sheet. There might even be a spot in the Ultimate Organizer that we've emailed you. I want to see it in that Excel document. Okay, I want to see it. Then, Law of Control states we feel happy to the level of how much control we've got in our lives. We feel unhappy when we don't have control. So it's very important that we set goals around every area of our life. Our fitness, our relationship, our family, social, spiritual. Because if you're out of whack in your health, you are going to be out of whack in your business. This is why personal goals need to be incorporated into your yearly plan. And so what we need to do, and where we want to end up with the planning, everyone, is a 90-day plan. So this is important. So by the end of this month, I want to see, as soon as possible, a 90-day plan, okay? So it's a plan that tells me what you're going to achieve in April, May, and June. So if you like, by the 1st of July. And I like to work in quarters, so we've just finished January to March, and I'm going to show you some examples how to do this shortly, but that's our goal. We want a 90-day plan. Please respect, it's got to be pen to paper. So first of all, we need to figure out, where do we want to end up in 10 years' time? I'm going to show you how to do this, so don't stress. Then, so I'm going to now just flick off my screen and bring up the Ultimate Organizer so you can all see this. This is very important. So here it is. Oh, bugger. Okay. So you've all been sent this. Now tab number 1, if you can notice along here, we've got tab 1, we've got yearly goals, quarterly goals, weekly goals, daily goals. To-do list, learning, someday maybe list. All of these are relevant. I'm going to take you through each of these now. So what I do is on paper, I go away and I write down, if you like, the heading 10 years. And I give myself, look, 10 years is a long time. But I like to sit down and think about what do I want to achieve out of my next 10 years. It was really interesting. I review my 10-year goals quite often, and in the next 10 years, I've got some pretty outlandish goals. I want to write a song. I want to write out a song in the next 10 years. So that's in my plan. I also want to write a sitcom. which is a bit crazy, but my biggest focus is around my existing business, okay? So we want to get really clear on what we want out of our next 10 years. This is starting with the end in mind. There is so much you can do in 10 years, and you do it on paper first. And you think about personal life first. And then you move to your business and you tell me, will you be in your existing company, or do you see yourself in another company? Do you see yourself operating it out of Sydney or Brisbane or Tasmania, or do you see it international? What do you see in 10 years? Please respect, 10 years is important, but it doesn't have to be high level of specificity. It just doesn't have to be that specific, it's more general. 10 years, big picture, where am I going? And then when you've got it all down, this is just a little template for you. So right at the top here, my vision, we can just put in here, who do you want to be as a person? And you can just summarize if you like your lifetime, vision is the art of seeing what's invisible to others for the greater benefit and happiness of the majority. So who are you? What's your vision for your family? How do you see your life with your friends? Maybe a vision statement for your business, community, planet, for those of you that are inspired at that level. And then down here, we've got my life goals. Once we've taken, if you like, that picture of the 10-year goals, we can move it into this. So once again, we've got it broken down into personal, family, friends, business, financial, community, planet. So we can actually summarize what we need, where we want to end up in 10 years. And please respect, it doesn't have to be hardcore detailed, just general stuff, bullet points. Dung, 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 dung. You might put some financial goals in there of, my business is making $2 million a year, for example, or my business is making $200,000 a year. It's your goals. And down here, it's just a nice place for you to summarize what you're passionate about, who your circle of influence is, so who you're hanging around, and here's a good opportunity too, just things that you want to do. I was watching, is it Andre Pierre? I was watching him last night on YouTube and I thought, far out, I haven't actually even put him on my bucket list. And so I went back in there this morning and I updated mine and I put go and watch Andre in there. Okay, so you might put on there, I want to visit the Olympic Games, I want to own a beach house. And some of my clients, don't be fooled by it stopping there. Increase it. If you've got 100 things, some of my clients have over 100 things they want to do in the next 10 years. They want to, what cars do they want to buy? So include your selfish things and include your not so selfish things. Just dump it out. I typically find doing 10-year goals will take you 2 to 3 hours max. You don't have to spend too much time. Although I will say this, if you are in a partnership or a relationship with, why not do it with your wife or your partner? And, why not go away somewhere and maybe sit in take a weekend off in the next quarter and give yourself a good half day to really go through, what do we want to do? Remember this, more people spend more time planning for their wedding than they do for the rest of their life. Then, once you've done 10 years, I did put another gap in here for you to just ask the question as a milestone, where do I need to end up in 3 years? To be on track for 10 years, what do I want to achieve in my life, in my business in the next 3 years? And once again, please respect pen to paper. Take out a brand new sheet of paper, write down personal. Sometimes I write personal in the middle and I get into a place of flow. It's amazing. It just flows out of you and you go, I want to go and achieve. I'm really unflexible at the moment. So I've got this big goal to do yoga to become flexible. You might want to start up meditation. You might want to learn Spanish dancing. You might want to travel to the States. You might want to get into a new relationship or have another child or move to a new country, whatever. Whatever you want to do, remember the clearer you are with it, the more intent you are in it, the more specific you are with it, the higher the chance of it showing up in your life. Although you can be flexible. It doesn't, just because you write it in there doesn't mean you fundamentally have to do it, but you're putting it out there, if you like. You're writing it down. And please also be careful of, I had a client the other day, he's a startup business owner, and he put in there, I want to have a team of 500 in 3 years. Now, it's not up to me to damage his ego, but less is more. Be realistic. Don't put ridiculous pressure on yourself. Give yourself 10 years to achieve that. Please just pull the goal setting back a little as we get closer to 12 months. Then, when we set 12-month goals, right, we then move to this attachment, which I'm showing you on my screen. What we need to firstly do is personal. You really, and by the way, everyone, I'm sending you out in the finish the year before it starts. There's an amazing 25-page document that helps you plan out the best year you've ever had. Please use it. It's called Finish the Year Before It Starts, and it gets you really breaking down what you want to do in your relationship, your family, and so you want to basically take a brand new sheet of paper and think about all the holidays you want to take, all the time out you want to take. Some people write goals. I want to finish work by 6 o'clock, four nights a week. I want to have a long weekend with my family once every quarter. I want to have at least 4 weeks holiday. I want to put pay 40 grand off my mortgage. I want to go to Spain. I want to learn Spanish dancing. I want to get myself to 88 kilograms. Remember, make the goals specific, measurable, achievable, personal goals first. And then when you've dumped it down on paper, you summarize it up here. Start yoga. 2 weeks in Bali. Could be learn meditation. It could be whatever. Okay? Your goals are your goals. It could be one dinner with wife once a month. Take her out for a dinner once a month. Remember this, if it's not planned, it won't happen. Personal goals go in first. Then, 2 weeks in Bali, when do you want to do it? Cool, I'm going to do it from the 5th of August. 14 plus 5 is to the 19th. Right, I'm going to book it out there. The beautiful thing about this is you can color code it. So you highlight it, you select the color, and then you can right click, insert comment, Bali. Right? Or you could go up here and just highlight that. That represents Bali. Very important you put personal goals in first, everyone. I'll come back and take questions shortly. But I want intense planning on 12 months. Now, bearing in mind too, we're now up to April. And the other thing I want you to respect, most people wait till December to set New Year's goals. And a lot of people feel out of whack. Scrap it. You can delete those 3 columns if you'd like. And then add January, February, March onto here if you'd like to. Okay, there's nothing stopping you doing anything with this, or you may just plan till the end of December. But I mean, personally, I would love to see it out to April next year because it is 12 months away and we can do a lot in 12 months. If we're starting to look at 9 months, you'll start feeling anxious again and stressed. 12 months is just a good, healthy amount of time. So, when we do our personal goals, we then break down our business goals. Now, this is what I do. So, once again, pen to paper. I do, I start and think about, I ask myself the question, where do I want to end up in 12 months' time? I want to be very, very clear on, how many team members will I put on, how much money will I be earning, what difference will I be making out there, what are my major projects. So to bring it back to my business, and I'm going to show you an example of mine shortly, but I was very clear on exactly what milestones I want to hit in the next 12 months. So, I've launched the book. I'm doing obviously some work with the Fortune Institute. I've got my webinar business, and I've got another business called Flip Your Life. So I've got, if you like, and there's 3 or 4 major projects. And so what I did was, because my book is one of my major projects, it got a brand new page, and I wrote in the middle of the page, book. And then I closed my eyes and I asked myself the question, what do I want to do with that in the next 12 months? And by the way, I did this last year. So I've already done my 12-month goals. I did it in like November last year. And I asked myself the question, in 2012, what do I want to achieve with my book? And I thought about it, and I just wrote off a whole lot of stuff. I said, I want to get it published. I want to get it in front of a whole lot of journalists. I want to get, X amount of copies bought. I want to get X amount of people on my database. I want to see it all over the place. So I'm going to just show it to you. But please respect, I spent a lot of time on this, everyone, on paper. I really thought about where I wanted to end up at the end of the year. What were my major goals? And then I looked at my business coaching. And I asked myself the question, what do I want? And I thought, I need a new website. I need to work on my agreements. I need to work on my positioning. I need to do X. I'm working with the Fortune Institute, so I need to put that in my planning. And I just broke it all down into, if you like, the bigger picture, and use the paper to really think about, what am I going to achieve in the next 12 months? And so I'll bring up mine just so you can see it, because it's good for you to see this. So, basically personal goals. I kept mine quite tight. Vietnam, Bali. I'm going to Vietnam next week. Start yoga. Wanted to sit up straight in my chair. Skeleton ready for a new book. Swimming regularly. So, what I did was, obviously, Vietnam's in there. It's over here somewhere. Bali's in there. Green's all my holidays. And then business goals. So, obviously, my book. 10,000 copies of book, database to 100,000 people, 1,000 people on my Flip Your Life program, which I'm about to launch. Wanted a new website up, wanting to run a great 2-day workshop, putting an amazing webinar ready. I just blanked these out. You didn't need to see my revenue goals, but how much money I wanted to make off my webinar business, how much money from my coaching business, how many people that I wanted on my online course. So a pretty aggressive year. A couple of other things here too. But I got really clear on these, and it took me, I spent around about half a day on my business goals for my year. Just really thinking about it. And what I did then was I went back to if you like, what we covered off this morning, and I went, what haven't I done in there? So for you, if you haven't done a budget, write down, I need to do a budget. Write down, if you haven't measured your time, I need to measure my time. I need to put more systems in place for consistency, for delivery. I need to work on my USP. I need to update my website with my USP. I need to focus on putting together a 10 by 10 marketing plan. I need to really work on getting monthly P&Ls. And what you do is you just bullet point them all around, if you like, I use mind map, everyone. I find it works really well for me. So I break everything down into projects, and then I mind map it all out. And then it just really helps me get clear on the 12-month, and then I lodge the 12-month goals into here. Now, please remember, I've been in business for 10 years. A lot of the mastery stuff I've already achieved and done. Therefore, I'm not setting goals around that anymore. But otherwise, if I was a new business owner, I'd probably have quite a few more goals, but they'd be smaller items, if you like. And so we want to get really clear, and you need to go back to your intention statement that you've written and go, and you have to ask the question, what do I need to do to achieve this? And fall into the creative zone and just blurk it, regurgitate it, dump it out. When you're going through the business analysis review that I've sent you, that will give you other clues for other things you need to work on in the next 12 months. Then, we ask ourselves the question, what do I need to achieve in the next 90 days? First thing you need to look at is how many days do I have available? Before I move on, everyone, I forgot to mention, I also plan, just a very important, over here, blue, hopefully you can see this, make sure you put a day in your calendar to work on your next 90-day plan. So that's me, I've already done it. I've already created my next 90 days there. I'll do it again in June, and that's me planning out the following year. And over here is me reviewing my P&L and me reviewing my business. So I basically give myself, if you like, half a day to review all everything that's going on. I'm in Bali there, so I won't do it then. This just helps me. These are other. You can use this map to put everything, all the other reminders in there. Like, what's this one? Okay, start marketing on a course that I'm running. That was back there. So yeah, it's a great tech tool for you to also map out other important dates in your year. Then we move to quarterly planning. Same thing. Plan on paper. What are you going to achieve in the next 90 days? Now, so if you're going to respect, this was all done on paper first. So once again, book. Now I wrote down the book in the middle of the page and I said to myself, what do I want to do in the next 90 days around the book? I want to send it to 15 publishers, 40 journalists. I want to get 500 free copies out. I want to get it up on Amazon, full sales system in place, database to 1,000, 10 new blogs, 500 likes on Facebook, 5 strategic partners lined up, read the best information on how to market it, starting to really catch on, testimonials, get my mum 50 so she can sell some. Then, so if you can imagine, in the middle of a page was book, and then all these ideas sprouted out on a big mind map. And then from that, I sent to 15 publishers, what do I need to do to make that happen? Great. Get my PA, Ivy, to create the list, create a letter, get mum to edit the letter, print and mail book. How long will that take me? 1 hour. When am I going to do it? By end of January. So we have the action point, what needs to happen specifically to make it happen, how long it will take you, by when will you have it done. Green, so I've just finished quarter one. Green means I've done it. Red means I haven't done it. So I've got a webinar business too. Look at all the red. Terrible. Even though so red means I didn't actually achieve the goal. But I shouldn't say terrible, because it's still, sometimes it's okay for you to put the goal out there. If it didn't get done, it means I had a great shot at it, got close, but didn't complete. So, you know, it's okay. But my webinar business was there. Then I had my coaching business down here. And everything was broken down into specifics. But bearing in mind, all done on paper, then moved to this time-bound, deadlined. So if we look at my next quarter, personal goals are up the top. Consistent exercise program, I want to find someone to train with by the 10th of May. I want to play golf 3 times in the next quarter. You know, a couple of notes. Tennis fortnightly, yoga. Business goals, book. 15 Amazon reviews, lined up 2 interviews, 2,000 copies sold. Get my database to 20,000 people. Selling it on Amazon. So I've got it up on Amazon. Now I want to sell it on Amazon. Set up the audio version. You know, flip your life program. So specifics. And once again, I've got all the dates in here. So this is for the April, May, June quarter. So obviously, if I sent this to my business coach, they can look at this. They know exactly what I want to achieve in the next 90 days. Now, this is pretty cool. Because once I've done the planning, once I've broken down the goals, I'm focused. The thing is, I am now so ready for the next quarter. I mean, I'm about to go to Vietnam for 2 weeks, which was planned last year. So I get back on the 27th of April. But I'm organised. My whole team know exactly what I want out of this quarter. They know the outcomes. They know the objectives. They know everything. And I've broken it down. And the third step, everyone, is I put it into my calendar. I've actually taken all these hours. And so, for example, on the 10th of May, I get back on the 27th of June. I think on about the 2nd of May, I've got in my calendar, call Brad to line up golf and call Freshney and Rudd, a couple of my friends, to book golf in. And I will book the 3 sessions on that particular date. I could do it now and get it over and done with, but I just had a million other things on, so I just planned to do it. So it goes from your planner into your calendar. And other columns here, you can put your budget in here. We'll come back to these other, just to come back to here. So we've got quarterly goals. Here's a template for you to use to plan your week out. Now, my advice is this needs to be printed and about 30 minutes to 1 hour every week planning out what you're going to achieve in your week. What are your personal goals? What are you going to learn? Health goals, family goals. Then you take your 90-day plan and you sit down and you write out, this week I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And then you put it into your diary. This sheet here, everyone, is for the high-end programs on the Fortune Institute. I'll take you through this in our coaching session. Just ignore this for the time being. This here is a fantastic daily planner. You can print this out. Again, remember, pen to paper. You can upload everything into this, but do it on paper first. This here helps you organize your day to get the most out of your day. Remember, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. How did I write my book last year? Honestly, I did it like half a chapter at a time. And then within 3 months, it was finished. It's just, if you break it down to the small little bite-sized chunks, you will slowly move through it and get it all done. Over here, look, it's for some of you that you want to just create daily lists if you need it. You can put in here things you learnt. And I love this one. Someday, maybe, you might come up with a big idea that just doesn't fit in your quarter. You can dump it into your someday, one day list. Someday, maybe list. So that is how we plan, and you need to go through the planning session that we're sending you in addition to this to really take it to the next level. But just to come back on a couple of slides. So 10 years, then 5 or 3 years, what do you need to do in the next year to be on track? And then we do the 90-day goals. Couple of things to remember. Don't commit to too much, everyone. Less is more. Give yourself 10 years, both personal and business goals. Give yourself permission to have some catch-up weeks. Time out. Lots of balance, lots of you time. Remember to reward yourself. Put that into the planning. It will take you, the first time you've done this, everyone, give yourself permission to make, if you could do this entire process in 2 days. Maybe go away somewhere and do it outside of your own environment. And remember that before we do the coaching sessions, I want your ultimate organizer back with your business analysis reviews. So then I can see what your goals are for the oncoming quarter. So I'm going to stop now. We are at 11. We've done a big dump, and I want to just open it up for questions. To please send me through some questions. We'll go for another 5 or so minutes taking some questions. Send them through. I'm going to pause that screen and bring up the questions. Robin's asked the question, what about goals you've already achieved? Do you put them in too? Listen, Robin, yeah, sure, you can create another template to say goals already achieved. It's actually nice for me to see that, where you've come from and what you've actually achieved. But just maybe create a new template for that. And you can put that prior to the life goals if that's great to put in. Yeah. Robin's asking, I tend to make these lists but over allocate myself. Great point, Robin. Double the amount of time you think it will take you, half the amount of things you want to achieve. Just remember that. Double the amount of time you think it will take you, half the amount of things you want to achieve. Guys, please give yourself 10 years. You can't do everything in the next 90 days. I will be able to look at your plan. If I'm seeing there's too much in there, you really want about, in a whole quarter, about 100 hours worth of goal setting, of things to do. Okay, just a good question. Diane's asked me to reiterate what I want sent. I would like the business analysis review that was emailed to you, printed, filled out, and mailed to my address on the email, which is all there. Email Christy if you need it again, my PA, christy@andrewroberts.com.au. I would like that by the end of April. And by the 25th of April, I want the emailed the ultimate organizer with all your goals outlined in it. By the 25th of April, I'm going to be over in Vietnam. So they will come through. I won't be able to give you feedback until I get back home. But that gives me sufficient time to review them and give you feedback on them. I'm going to go through every single one of these individually. And I'm going to provide you good critical feedback on, I don't get this, or I need to be able to read your plan to fully understand what's going on. Timeline to complete the goals. Look, Rob, 2 days. 2 days to set them, and obviously the timelines are then 12 months, 90 days. Okay, so Steve, brief summary of what we need to do now and where to start. I think I've just covered that. You need to basically take what I taught today, you need to put it into your plans, and I need to see your yearly goals, 12-month goals, your quarterly goals, in, if you like, the Ultimate Organizer format. That's going to help me help you. That's as good a summary as it is. If you need more help with setting out the planning and the goals, then you need to go back and review the Finish the Year Before It Starts, which Mark will be sending to you. The webinar, if you're still really stuck with how to do it, there'll be more content in there. Don's asked, do I want all the goals on Excel or just the calendar? Don, I mean, everyone's got a different style of setting the goals, and I've just provided you with a template that makes it easy for me to understand what you're wanting to achieve. So, yeah, I do. I want them. If you might have a different way of doing it, but then get them across into that Excel format, because then it helps me. My brain can just look at it and go, yep, I can see what he wants to achieve this year and this quarter. Danielle's just mentioned there's lots of people sending in their business review pages to me. How long will it take for us to get feedback? I mean, in what form does the feedback come? Danielle, if you're on the advanced program, then obviously the high-end program, the feedback is going to be during the, when we have the first coaching session, we'll be able to really pinpoint and make sure the plans are set. But I will also be providing bullet point feedback in terms of changes to everyone else as well. And I've got a goal to have all of that achieved by the 5th of May. I'm going to be looking at every single one of them. I'm allocating, if you like, a day towards this to make sure that I can just look at them very quickly, pinpoint where I feel the improvements need to be made. Yeah, Eric, we'll summarise in an email for you. what we need to do. Robin, yes. If you've got 2 different focuses, then break it into 2 different parts, business to customer, business to business. Michael, how do we watch this webinar again? It's going to be in the members area within the week, with max 1 week. So we will upload this and have it to you. Rebecca, anything different if you haven't started a business yet? I only have the idea. No, it's not actually, Rebecca. It's still an action plan. I want to know, where do you want to be in 12 months' time? What do you want to achieve in the next quarter? So it's exactly the same. You just need to tell me what you want out of the quarter. Be really specific with your goals. Great. Thank you, Michael. Law of Attraction you can buy on Amazon. Amazon, $5.60, everyone. All right. So that's it, everyone. That was a big session. And, you know, you may ask, why did I spend so long to get to the planning? The reason I did, because I want you to work on mastery and the lower rungs of the ladder. I needed to educate you on that, because I see far too many people come to me with a plan that's not following where they need to focus. That's why I wanted to educate you on how to run a great business, to make sure, respect that you if you put energy down the bottom rungs, the mastery level, you'll get so much more out of it. So just to finish off, for those that are still online, love to just get, what's one thing that you've taken away from today? If there's just one thing you've taken away, what would it be? Just put it into the chat box, and then we'll close off. Yeah. Focus. Some people at ground zero. I need to have plans. Focus, focus, focus. Time management. The need to step back. Accountability is everything. Planning will help make our business, which is already very good, much, much better. Focus on mastery and not at higher level things. Great. Book 2 days with the wife to start the plan. It'll be two of the best days you've ever had. Please respect slowing down to speed up here, everyone. Slowing down to speed up. The need to plan and put steps in place regarding mastery. Need to plan for marketing strategies, opportunity. Fundamentals in getting my time back. Thanks, Andrew. Looking forward. All right, everyone. Well, listen, have an amazing Easter. Enjoy the break. Be present. We're all in business to give ourselves more life. So enjoy these moments that we have with family. Can't wait to work with you all. And we will do whatever we can to help you achieve amazing success and have the best year you've ever had. And it's going to be a big 12 months. Lots and lots of fun. Take care, everyone, and goodbye.
The organizer has ended the